Christian hit his wife Leonora in Arabic. With all his strength. She was still moving a little, so he went back with his back. In Arabic, he ran it over again. This time, she stopped moving completely, and only then did he leave the place. And then Christian went to his company and sat down. He chats with his employees very normally and deliberately, just to create an excuse for being absent. And as soon as everything looks normal, he went home. He poured himself a glass and tried to calm down. But in the first file behind him, he found his dead wife standing. Exactly behind him, completely intact and without a single scratch. He froze in place. What is happening here, I wonder? And to understand, we need to go back a week. Leonora had gone to Christian's office looking on him, and at that moment, I caught him while he was cheating on her with his assistant. Jenny Christian didn't notice her and didn't realize anything. Meanwhile, Zinnia, she kept an eye on Leonore all the time, and she responded to her with a mocking laugh. Let's not make a mistake with a word. But as soon as they got home, Christian said to her with all calm down, he wants to divorce Nora. I asked him if there was another woman in his life. Christian denied it, but Nora revealed to him that she had seen him. He is in a situation not good with Zinnia. I made it clear to her, okay? I looked directly into her eyes without fear. And then the talk. It took a darker and more dangerous turn. Leonora, she brought up the topic of money that Christian was embezzling, and she revealed that she had discussed this matter with her lawyer, and since she is also dragged into this case, so the only way for her to protect herself is to report him to the police. Christian tried to justify to himself and said, it's something like that, but for their son Johann, who had been sick for a long time, and his treatment costs a fortune, but Eleonora was not. She was ready to accept his excuses. She thought she had. She suggested he take out a loan, and that it was possible. She herself go back to music to help with the money, and instead of that she gave up everything. From the beginning of their marriage, they agreed that Christian would focus on making money, and she would stay at home. She takes care. They are weak. She sacrificed her future for the sake of the family, but now she knows that Christian betrayed her. All these sacrifices have become for nothing. She doesn't matter, and in her mind, time has passed. It's over so she can start anew and build a career. The music she left behind. In the end, to Nora, Christian presented two options or a warning. Finally, either he ends his relationship with Zane, or he goes to the police immediately and exposes the embezzlement issue. And at the construction site, Christian, we will talk later with his colleague Peter about the plan they were working on together. They were playing around with currency exchange rates to make huge profits, and this is of course something illegal. And what made matters worse is that their taxes were also confused. Shortly afterward, Christian secretly met Zaina in their usual place and told her that the matter with Leonora would be resolved soon. Xenia was flying with joy when she heard that, to the extent that she asked him to go meet her parents on the same day, and Cristiano agreed without. He hesitated. Then when he returned home, how much did Christian help to get down a wooden platform for the crematorium in the lake as part of midsummer celebration preparations, and this is a famous tradition in Denmark, and they're working Christian. He admitted that things at home have become a disaster. Honestly, Leonora refused to let him go and was threatening him that she would expose everything about him. What? He understood his feeling, and he felt it, and said that I went through something similar before when I divorced him. I threatened him at the time of the divorce, but unlike Christian, Cam remained calm and didn't do anything reckless, and instead, he divorced her, ending up in this situation. While she is spending time with her friends who encouraged her to make the decision to separate, and because of that, how much? Suggested Christian, he is trying to talk to one of Leonora's friends. Maybe this person can help convince her to accept the divorce. At the same time that Nora was watching Cristiano Cam, while they were talking inside the house and she was sitting alone in the room, she was looking into an old picture of the family and she's quietly crying, but That sadness gradually turned into something else. The first thing I remembered was Zinnia's laugh, full of mockery. Leonora's glance became sharp and full of anger and hatred. Shortly after, Leonora walked secretly behind Christian when he abandoned the sight of the chant, and to her amazement, Christian was done with it and met one of Leonora's old friends, named Cassandra, who has a shoe store, and during their conversation, Cassandra said, "She hasn't talked to Leonora in a long time." Strong. And here, Christian realized something he didn't know. A long time ago, for Nora, she had a boyfriend named Mike. He died years ago after falling from a rocky cliff. Cassandra didn't know the whole story, but there are words and rumors going around. For years, people have been saying that Leonora could be the one who tricked Mike after she discovered that he was cheating on her. At that time, part of Cassandra herself had collapsed. He too. In the end, she divorced her husband after she found out that he was marrying again. The secret, and she also had a child from her, and from Cassandra. Christian managed to get Sonia's phone number, and because he wanted to know more about the past, he went in the car until the same slope where Mike died, and he talked to Sonia. While he was standing there, Sonia explained to him that on that day she and Mike were spending time in the forest together, and she admitted that they were in a secret relationship, but at that moment Sonia felt a strange sense that someone was watching him. She wasn't. She is able to see clearly who it was, not sure at all if it was Leonora or someone else, and when Mike is walking towards the slope, let her so. He smells a little. Suddenly Sonia heard his scream. He falls, and just before that exact moment, she glimpsed Leonora as she was leaving the nearby area. The slope. And Christian is hearing this story on the phone. There was something more worrying happening close to him, Leonora herself. She was hiding among the trees, and you hear the whole call in secret. But, at the moment Christian turned his head towards her, she had completely disappeared. Then, Christian went to visit the people of the world, and without knowing Lenore, she preferred to watch all his movements from afar. After a few days, Christian opened rumors about Mike and Bill Maher's death. The Prophet and Nora might be the ones who pushed him. Nora, she immediately rejected the story and said it was just defamation and nonsense. Then she put Christian in front of two options. He can leave the house and go live with Zinnia, but if he does that, Leonora, you will report the embezzlement to the police, or that he stays at home and protects their lives like she does. But on the condition that he ends his relationship with Zane. Oh, immediately, and without having any good options ahead of him. Christian is as stiff as MIA, but as soon as she replied, he couldn't utter a word. And instead, he simply closed the road. After a while, another Chris honestly admitted that he loves life. Honestly, when I heard that, Leonore, I went crazy with anger. I exaggerated it that he would leave the house. And I declared that the house had become mine. Here she is, alone and with her Mercedes car as well. And, at that moment, they ended up swapping the cars. Shortly after that, Christian went to the office, intentionally left his phone there, and made sure that an employee saw him to fix an excuse for being absent. With utmost accuracy, and then he took one of the cars. The company's white one, and he stood waiting on the road that Leonora is used to running on. And he's stuck. Oh, Christian, in the end. He lost his temper, and this takes us back to the very beginning of the story. The moment he stepped on the light, Nora, while she was running on her usual path, Christian left the body there on purpose, and to make it show. It was as if it were a bump and run incident, and so that the police wouldn't check into it. Afterward, he used Leonora's car wash card to wash. And he wipes away any evidence, and as soon as he finished, he returned to the office and tried to act normally and greet the employees, while he hides the terror inside him. And when Christian he returned home in the end, he sat and talked with his son Johan, who was preparing for the end-of-year exam. The next day, everything was clear. Somewhat natural, Johan simply asked, "Mom, where?" This question. This made Christian surprised and confused because just moments before he had thought that He was still stepping on his wife. After this conversation, Christian went to take a shower alone in the bathroom, carrying the thing he had made. It had become heavy, to the point that he spent the day crying, but then something happened that you wouldn't believe to Nora. Suddenly she entered the house. And she was completely alive and without a single scratch. She was. I just got back from running. But this time I took a different route. And that means the woman Christian was talking about a little while ago was someone else. Someone happened to be wearing a red jacket similar to the one Leonora was wearing. Christian remained in a state of shock, and at the same time the police car lights. I came back from outside. Someone had discovered a body. The woman he hit reported it to the police in time. This is for Nora. Wait, Christian looks strange. And I asked him why he came home earlier than his usual time. Christian refused to explain anything right now, and instead, Lenora approached him. She has hope. He forgot Senior, but Christian rejected her. His mind. He was completely distracted after what happened. And the next morning he went out alone in a boat. A little one in the middle of the lake, trying to calm his thoughts, and at another time of the day if Nora switched cars with Christian again. Their relationship got a little better at that moment. And Christian is supposed to take Johan to school for his exam. After that, a little while later, he arrived with frightening news. There was an accident, a hit and run on a nearby road. Last night, when he heard this, Christiana immediately became tense. He walked quickly to reach Johan at school, while Eleonora, who was curious to learn about the incident, went to the scene of the accident by herself, and there she learned the truth. The victim was 6 and had 3 small children. The case is now in the hands of the investigator, he and his colleague. And they are marking the area. He did not notice Leonora. And she is watching them from afar, a moment and the next day during Johan's graduation party at La Rose Mill House. The family visited and asked Cristiano, Leonora, where were they? About 2 nights ago around. At night, Leonora said she was outside running. He claimed that he was still working late at the office. And he doesn't even exactly remember when he got home. And without there is any tangible evidence. The investigators have not gone further yet and left him a card in case they remembered anything related to the incident. At that time, Zinnia was used to sending messages to Christian, and she was upset because he never replied to her at all. What about Lenora? She asked about his relationship with Christian. He and said that everything between him is over for good, and that he wants to focus on repairing their relationship, and then as soon as the party ended, Christian secretly returned to the scene of the incident. The place was now full of flowers left by the victim's family and friends, and he was standing there, Christian. According to a great sin, his heart was filled. 3 children lost their mother because of him. For a moment, he seriously thought about turning himself into the police, but then he looked at the picture. Johan on his phone. If Johan went to prison, he would be the one suffering the most at the same time. The news started talking about the case, and according to the Arabic witnesses' statements about the incident, it was a white van at that time. Leonora. She was washing her car when she suddenly noticed something strange. The balance I thought was for car washing has become completely zero, even though there should have been money. I just asked. The employees found out that the card was used again on the exact same night the incident happened to Nora. She immediately suspected Christian as soon as let her watch the surveillance camera recordings of the laundry. The truth has become clear. The recordings showed Christian as he was cleaning the egg, the type that was mentioned in the news of the incident. And without wasting time, Christian faced him and showed him the recording. And at that moment, all the threads came together. I realized that her husband intended to kill only her. He ended up hitting the wrong person because the victim was wearing a jacket similar to hers. To Nora, she was overcome with feelings of anger, disappointment, fear, and astonishment as she screamed at what he had done. Christian called immediately to investigator Holler, but before you reveal the truth, Christian quickly snatched the phone from her, and it seemed like he saw and witnessed it in time. The incident happened after the call ended. Christian. He desperately tried to tell her it was Ali Nur, that she should go to the name. He tries to calm her down, but Leonora, she refused to listen and left the house while fuming. Christian remained in his place in total terror, and didn't know what to do next. Then, Detective Haller and his colleagues slowly arrived home. They asked Johann to stay in his room so that he wouldn't hear what was going to be said. After that, Christian said that he saw an egg on the road at the time of the incident. He even added that the car's license plate looked foreign, and it might be from Romania. Then Leonora sent a message to Christian asking him to meet her at the restaurant at 11 o'clock at a fish restaurant. And that's it. It also means that it hasn't been reported to the police yet. At the same time, he just couldn't not notice how much Christian Bale. The rising tension made him start to suspect that Christian might actually be responsible for the incident. But up until now he still needs evidence. Cut. That night, Cristiano Leonora, they met at Leonora's fish restaurant. She explained that ever since she left the house she has been thinking with focus at work and Christian. At first I thought that it would send him to prison. At least the 3 children who lost their mother could feel some kind of justice. But Eleonora also realized that she is not a judge to decide what justice should look like. If Christian goes to prison on a murder charge and embezzlement, the life of their son Johann would be destroyed, and on top of all that, for Nora. She was also afraid that Christian, if left alone, might try. He will kill her again one day. Christian, he had no choice but to apologize and promise her that he will never do something like that again. And then Leonora asked for the shocking request. She wants Christian to kill Xenia. In Leonora's view, Xenia is the root of all the problems in their lives. And as long as Xenia is still alive, Leonora believes that her life will always be in danger. Before that, Christian was ready to kill Leonora for the sake of the world, and now the situation has been reversed. Absolutely, this time Christian has to kill Xenia for Leonora's sake. And she even offered to. It helps with that. At first, Christian thought she was joking. But when he saw how seriously she was talking, he realized she could still report it. The police could come for him at any moment. He had no choice but to agree with Leonora. Then she explained that they would need a very strong excuse for absence in order to. They avoid. Doubt is the first thing when Xenia's corpse meets. In the end, and with a frightening smile, to Nora in the end, she confessed to something much darker. She confessed. It really was she who pushed Mike from the cliff years ago. She had discovered his relationship with Sonia long before that day, and when she caught them while they were in a compromising position together, jealousy and anger took over her. But Eleonora had prepared everything. She had arranged an excuse. Lack of perfection. She used to play the violin in her school's music room to make it seem like she had always been there. After she got bored, Mike from the top of the slope returned silently from the window and continued playing the violin. Then, after a while, the music school he entered saw her while she is training, and this provided her with a witness who can confirm that Leonora did not leave the room at all. We can say with conviction that Leonora is a smart woman. Very much, but also a character with a manipulative and extremely dangerous mentality. Shortly after, the plan to kill Xenia began. The goal, her death, appears as if it were the result of an accident. The theft. At first Cristiano Leonora booked. The hotel is close to the vacation house that Xenia. He is staying there. And after noon, Christian left the hotel. In silence, he went down from the balcony and made sure that no one saw him. He is walking when he arrived at Xenia's. I apologized to her and explained to her that things had been tough at home the past period, and that Johann had just graduated from school. But the world was still angry and refused to let him in. When she decided to close the door, Christian, it ended up with him breaking the glass so they could open it from inside Xenia. They tried to scream, but Christian quickly covered her mouth and tried to calm her at the same time. There at the hotel, Leonora began preparing an excuse. She was absent, turned on the bathtub faucet, and requested room service to bring food to the room. and she pretended she was talking to Christian as if he was still in the bathroom taking a bath. At that time, Cristiano and Xenia got together and started drinking while talking. And according to the plan, Christian was supposed to kill Xenia. At the same moment, Leonora would send a message to the phone like MIA, using Christian's phone. The message would say that he couldn't. He completes their relationship, because his family is everything to him. For him, but when that moment came, Christian couldn't do that. He still loved Al Zayn, oh really, and instead of executing the plan, he started getting close to her again, and we go back to the hotel. A room service employee delivered the food to Noor to finish acting. And she kept calling out for Christian as if he was still in the bathroom. Not to mention that they had prepared a recording of Christian's voice while he was talking about his money. Where is the Shala? The recording, work out loud, enough for the hotel employee to hear. And this confirmed the trick that Christian is in the room, all of it. A detail in the plan had been carefully arranged, but late that night, after Cristiano and Xenia spent some time together, the world collapsed for Hammam when she noticed that the window was open. Suddenly, Leonora appeared in front of her out of nowhere, and without hesitation, Leonora attacked her. And I stabbed her when Christian ran to the bathroom. He was shocked when he found Leonora standing there with all her clothes. Leonora's blood. She had known from the beginning that Christian will never be able to destroy the world by himself. And in the end, she took matters into her own hands. Christian was completely devastated as he was trying to comprehend. Al Nazan. Oh, she died, it's over. And the next day Cristiano. Leonora returned home and continued their life as if nothing had happened at that time. The detective. He and his colleagues started to investigate and decorate. Oh, the one it seemed had stolen the broken glass at the door. It suggested that it happened. An intrusion, but there was something uncomfortable. The whole house was completely clean. Not a single hair or fingerprint anywhere. And that. He was strongly insisting that someone had carefully erased everything. And the most suspicious thing was that many things were missing, like the world computer. And her wallet and her phone. But the strangest detail. So, herself. She is missing too, and her body. There's no trace of her anywhere. And, after they discovered that Christian sent a message to Dino on the night when the detectives disappeared, they decided to visit him. He didn't explain to him. If the theft happened in Petzan, now she's gone without a trace. And Christian also asked about the message that was sent from his phone. Tonight, Christian is fragrant. He really was. Involved with religion, yes. But that's about their relationship. It was already over. And according to what he said, Leonora forgave him because problems like this sometimes happen in marriage. Leonora confirmed the story and added that the two of them had stayed in a hotel on the same night that Zaini disappeared. And this is something the police can easily verify. And yet, there was no refusal from my suspect. If a thief broke into Xenia's house, and it could have killed her, why is the body being removed from the scene? Question. He wouldn't have left his mind. The police officers and guard dogs started activity in the nearby forest, hoping to find any trace of the place of Xenia's body. It could be hidden in it at the same time. The midsummer celebration began when Christian heard the sound of police dogs from. He quickly asked you to help him. He lights the incinerator immediately. He used the excuse that it is raining. It might rain soon according to the weather forecast. Flying together, they took a boat and went out to the middle of the lake to a big pile of tree branches that was prepared for a celebration at that moment. Exactly like that, police dogs started howling loudly at the lakeside. Their reaction suggested that corpses were in the place. Close, and they were actually right. Xenia's post. It was hidden inside a pile of branches placed there to be burned with the crematorium and the evidence destroyed. And when the fire got stronger, the smell disappeared, and the police dogs eventually lost the trail from afar. The detective was the one who was watching the scene. And it's good that there was something wrong. But in that moment he couldn't confirm anything. And then Cristiano. Leonora realized that the bones of humans need very high temperatures to be completely destroyed, and because of that, the next day they immediately took a bold and fateful decision. They sold their house and moved far away. And they took the precious from the greatness of beauty, oh those with them. Inside a bag in the last moments of the story. The truth about Xenia's fate. Her bones have become clear. What remains will be thrown in the end into a distant lake. In the depths of another forest, far from anyone. He might find it. And this is the end of the movie, and we will meet in a new summary. Thank you for watching.